South China Sea tensions have erupted in recent weeks as U.S. warships patrol the region, leaving Beijing livid, but it could be the presence of colossal submarines that pose the biggest threat of an accidental conflict. The presence of Chinese submarines does not match the U.S., in the same way Washington enjoys military superiority in all areas. But as Beijing begins to invest heavily in its development of weaponry, submarine presence could be another area of intense contest, as both the US and China look to assert their dominance. The US has sought to disrupt China's grip over the key Spratly Islands chain, but some analysts have suggested that this could spark retaliation from Beijing. This could involve the Chinese Navy pushing its submarines further out from its position around the archipelago, forming a defensive posture that could obstruct U.S. ships from patrolling the hotly contested territory. National interest highlights that Chinese submarines are loud enough for those on U.S. ships to hear, and therefore move away to avoid a collision and resulting flashpoint. However, should Beijing adopt a more resilient defensive strategy over the Spratly Islands, the likelihood of inadvertent clashes inevitably rises. The South China Sea is hotly contested because of its lucrative shipping lanes, capacity for military strategic advantages, and wealth of natural resources such as oil and minerals. At the center of this disagreement are various island clusters such as the Spratly Islands and the Paracel Islands. China has had particularly tense relations with Vietnam and the Philippines over islands in the region. National interest also highlights that the islands are another key reason to be fearful that accidental conflict could erupt. China has turned the Spratly Islands into a series of military bases by moving its aircraft carriers into the region, as well as installing airstrips and weapons. The elaborate nature of China's occupation in the contested islands has earned it the nickname, the Great Wall of Sand. This has not stopped the US from mounting challenges to Beijing. In November, the US warships sailed past the Paracel Islands twice, leaving Beijing furious. A spokesperson from China's military said, "We to stop these provocative actions to avoid any unforeseeable accidents." China has indisputable sovereignty over the South China Sea Islands and its surrounding area. While neither side is looking for conflict, the increased presence of Chinese ships and submarines, increased US patrols, and Beijing's illegitimate island claims still unwavering, a clash could be around the corner. China's fortification of contested islands is not only provoking anger from the US either, as smaller nations such as the Philippines and Malaysia also have claims over the Spratly Islands. In 2016, the Philippines won a case in the Permanent Court of Arbitration invalidating China's claims to almost the entire stretch of sea. China does not recognize the ruling. The tribunal in The Hague found that China had violated sovereign Filipino rights under the United Nations Convention on Laws of the Sea, UNCLOS. In 1994, China had a similar confrontation by asserting its ownership of Mischief Reef, which was inside the claimed economic exclusion zone of the Philippines.